three main categories of reasons why people don't vote. First, we have a group of people who don't care about politics. That's maybe surprising for some folks who follow politics really closely, but there's a group of folks who just don't care about politics as much as others do. Then there's a group of voters who don't vote, I think, because of reasons of efficacy. Like they don't know anything about the candidates, they're not convinced that their vote's going to matter on election day, things of that nature. And then there are costs in terms of logistics, right? In Pennsylvania, you have to register 30 days before the election. It can be uncertain about what the process will look like, both to register and then on the day of the election. What ID do you need to show? What's the process going to look like? And so I think those three categories are reasons why people stay home on election day.
Well, when somebody registers to vote, first thing we do is we will mail them a voter registration ID card. It comes to them in their post office box or their mailing address, whatever it is they give us. It will look something like this when they receive it in the mail. And on there, once they open it up, they will see their name, their registered party, their election district, and most importantly, their polling place. And that way they know where to go on election day.
So whether they're a first-time voter or they've moved and their polling place has changed, they do need to provide some form of ID. If you've been voting in the same place for 20 years or whatever, you don't need to bring anything, just yourself.
And you can show your driver's license, you can show the voter ID card we've mailed you. There's a whole host of different qualifying IDs, but the most simplest is your voter ID card that you receive from our office or a driver's license. And that's for a first-time voter in that election district.
When they walk in, they would just need to obviously get in line if there is a line, you know, depending on this year, there probably will be a line. And then just provide their name, and then the poll worker would look them up in the poll book. And if they need to show ID, they would be asked to show ID, and if they don't need to show ID, then they would just sign in the book, and then they would be taken to a voting machine. So the poll worker would bring the voter over to the machine and start up the machine by inserting the PEB.
And what was that you put in?
It's called a PEB, a portable electronic ballot. That's what it stands for. We'll just select Campbell 1. So it'll just come up and confirm. So this would be the polling place that you're voting in this case, Campbell 1. The poll worker would select yes, would remove this, and then just explain to the voter, these are your instructions. When you're ready to begin voting your ballot, hit view ballot. And then the poll worker would walk away.
Okay. So the instructions do come up.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Yep.
away.
Yeah, the instructions are the first thing the voter sees. Okay. Did you want me
Right.
to?
Yep. And then what happens?
And then the voter would hit view ballot. And then this would be the actual ballot for Campbell 1.
Okay. And when somebody's ready to vote, how do they go out there?
Well, they could vote straight party. So if they did straight party Democrat, you can see that then all the Democratic candidates would light up. Okay. But let's say they wanted to vote straight party Democrat, but for Congress they didn't, so they could deselect and select the other candidate, and you see everything else stayed the same.
Oh.
Okay. Or, well, here we can just, and then the voter would review their ballot, so just confirm that what they selected is what they wanted. Okay. And then they would hit the vote button. And then they would need to confirm their ballot at this point. Okay. And once they confirm, they'll get your ballot has been cast. Thank you for voting. And that means they're done.
We removed the curtain so to make it easier for you to see, but when a voter comes in, there will be a curtain. They'll go inside the curtain, and then one of the machine operators will activate the board, and then you can see the lights are flashing in the office boxes where an individual has choices to make. They can then press any of the black X's to then make a selection, and they can do it either by going straight party, or they can make choices of candidates of their own. They may only come in and vote for one candidate. It's all up to the voter. If they want to do a write-in, they would then push the write-in box, the light flashes, the window would open, And all they need to do is write the name of the write-in candidate they support and then close the window. And then that write-in box light will stay on to remind them that they've cast a write-in vote for that office. And then they can go down through the other offices, and once they push the green vote button, you hear the ding, the lights go out, that voter's vote has been recorded.
I think what's interesting now is to actually compare a couple of my classes. So I have a class of seniors who are all getting ready to graduate in May, and a lot of them voted for the first time in the 2016 presidential election. So I think they have a little bit of a different sense of what the midterms mean. And then I also have a class, an intro American government class that's mostly first year students. And so for them, it's the first time they're allowed to vote. And so a lot more of them, I think, a lot more of my first year students are excited about politics and excited to make a difference. They're coming off of maybe having gone to rallies in DC over the last year, either as part of the Parkland response to the Parkland shootings, or some of them went to DC after the inauguration to participate in the Women's March. And I think the first year students are really excited about being able to participate in the political process and the electoral process for the first time.